evening, everybody. If you can hear me, just drop a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone you are joining from. Welcome to Faith and Finance Weekly. Welcome to Faith and Finance Weekly. As usual, we have a lot to look at, and I'm excited about today's session. And I want you to follow me. I want you to participate. If there's somebody you want to join, share the link immediately. Let's delve right into it. Let's start immediately. All right, so today I titled it Stop Praying for Money, God Sends This Instead. So we're here to find out what is this. What is this? What is that this we are talking about? There's something that God sends that we want to look at and focus on. We want to move our focus from looking at money and praying for money. Oh, I need money. Oh God, send me new money. Send me money, and just looking at what God actually does, how the world has been designed to operate. Are you aware that you could just be one God breathed idea away from your next breakthrough? Just one God breathed idea from your breakthrough. Many times we're looking for 52 steps. We're looking for so many things that we need to happen. And even when you have desires, from the bottom of your heart, you can't picture it happening in one step. You can't picture it happening in 1 week. You can't picture it happening in 2 days. But for every level I've not been able to attain, I must be honest with myself and say, that's a level I have not gotten wisdom for. Because once I get wisdom for that level, a God-breathed idea, I will climb to that level. So the world teaches us to work harder. In fact, that's how we were brought up. Go to school so that do well in school so that you can get a good job, and then as you work very hard, you get promoted and you can earn well. That's the system of the world. The world teaches you to work harder, but the kingdom teaches you and I to think deeper. I'll say that again. The world teaches us to work harder, but the kingdom teaches us to think deeper. And that is why the people who earn the most are the people who think deeper, not worry. They are the people who, I was talking on Wednesday and I said, you get to a level where you obsess on a solution for the problem. You're not obsessing and worrying about the problem, but you get to a level where you just sit down and you say, Lord, you give wisdom. You said, he who lacks wisdom, let him ask. He will give freely. So if I have not been able to get A or B, if I have not been able to get 1 or 2, it means there's something I'm missing. And Lord, what is that wisdom? You are just one God-breathed idea away from your next step. I am just one God-breathed idea away from my next level. So I want us to move from trading time for money to trading our attention for God's divine wisdom. Instead of being distracted with everything happening, let's trade all the distraction and all the things that look important, that the world has framed as very important. Let's trade them for time with God to hear. I can't say how many times I've been in a position where I don't know how this is going to happen. And naturally I'm the kind of person that will think long and hard, and sit down, bring out my pen, start preparing this. I will do this, I need to do this is the next step. But I've learned, sometimes when you are pushing and you're getting weary from pushing, stop pushing and just submit that you don't know what to do. Instead of pushing, go and wait on God. Are you aware that there's actually no situation you find yourself in? And I'm not saying there's hardly any or there are only a few. I mean, there is literally no situation you find yourself in that God doesn't already have the solution for. You are just one God breathed idea away from that solution. If you look at Genesis, you will see, and I just this when I saw this, the Bible is just beautiful. The Bible has the steps, principles, strategies for virtually any area of your life. In the Bible, you will realize that God did not design man to labor, to work, to thrive, to sweat. God did not design man to work hard work, laborsome work. God designed man to be a thinker. So the way I wrote it is, God did not design man to be a worker, he designed man to be a thinker. Now, that's just making the phrase catchy. Yeah, thinking is work. But when I say work, I mean labor, thistles and thorns. The man who carries cement and transports cement from one place to the building, to the truck, or from the truck to the building, carries block for them to build and all. He's earning less than the engineer who comes there and is inspecting the work. True or false? Yeah. He's earning way far less than that engineer. The engineer is using his mind. He's thinking. He's the one that came up and drew the plan. He's the one that has to measure the weight. Can he carry it? He's the one that is seeing things the guy who's carrying the block does not see. He's thinking deeper. That's how God designed us. God designed us to think. Now, let's see Genesis 2. From 19. So Genesis 2:19. So I read 19 and 20. So the Lord God formed from the ground all the wild animals and all the birds of the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would call them, and the man chose a name for each one. He gave name to all the livestock, all the birds of the sky, all the wild animals. But still, there was no helper just right for him. Now, I told you that God didn't create us to be workers. He created us to be thinkers. Can you picture the amount of thinking that would be required to name every animal that you see on earth today? And trust me, you've not even seen you've seen only a small portion of all the animals that exist. And yet, even if they just brought 5 animals, you've never seen a lion before, you've never seen a dog before, you've never seen a cat before, you've never seen a bird before. They were just created. Can you imagine what it would take to give them a name? So Adam's first job in Eden was mental labor, to name and organize creation. If you see the way the Bible puts it, he didn't just say he named all the animals. He gave name to all the livestock, so he categorized them. He didn't just name them just scattered. They are categorized. You even see when the woman was made, he said, "You shall be called woman, for you were brought out of man." Can you imagine the kind of thinking that went on in how many minutes or even seconds? Something that didn't exist, he thought it into being. I'm called man. Since she came from a woman, since she came from the man, she will be called woman, for she was brought out of man. That's what you were created for, to think. To think. Unfortunately, the world we live in, and it's affecting all of us. I was telling my wife the other day that this ease of doing everything now has made me even lazy to type. To even type. I want to just speak and it writes out what I'm saying. So, but we must be careful, because when we follow this microwave age, you are being denied the opportunity to think, and that is the most valuable asset you have, your brain. You can't leave your thinking to computers. You must think. That is your most valuable asset, your mind. That is why when a man becomes brain dead, they call him a vegetable, and they will come and advise the family of the person, let's unplug him. In other words, once the brain stops working, you're dead. You're breathing, but there's no use for you anymore. This is what we were created for. Adam was a thinker. Adam was a creator, an innovator. It is the curse that introduced toil, sweat of the brow. Before you make anything, you will sweat. But remember, the curse came, but Christ has redeemed us from the curse. Christ restores us to our original thinking mandate. Somebody type thinking mandate. Thinking mandate. That is our number one responsibility. Anytime you notice you are running and shying away from thinking, using your brain, settling down and thinking and finding a solution. If it takes me 30 minutes, I won't move. If I don't get it, I'll come back tomorrow. I'll continue. Stay, pray in tongues. Think it through. There is a solution. Over the past few weeks, I've just come to realize that if we would just be patient, you will notice that there's a solution. If you will not be in a hurry to move, to find a plan B, if you will obsess on that plan A and wait for that God-breathed idea, you will realize you never needed plan B. Many times we move to plan B because we're impatient. You can't think of anything that would change, and so you just move on immediately to find a solution for yourself. So we must transition from the place where we say, where you keep thinking about lack. I lack this. What do I lack? I will never be able to do this. Oh, to be able to do this, I must have this. How would I even get this? No. And transition to the place where you now start saying, asking God, what do you want me to see? What is it you want me to see? You remember, he who lacks wisdom, let him ask. He who lacks wisdom, let him ask. I must be responsible enough to look at a situation and say, I don't know this, I don't have the answer. If I had the answer, I would do better. If I knew what to do, if I had become the person who can do it, I would have done it. So the responsibility is on me. And if that solution is available, that means I can get it. It even instills confidence in me that all I need is to take out some time, I will find the answer. There's nothing anybody has done, there's nothing anybody has achieved that you can't achieve if you will just transition from labor to thinking. Your wealth is not just in your hands. Your wealth is not just in your hands. Where is it? It's in your mind. It's in your mind. And that's part of why we do this Faith and Finance Weekly. Is that we push ourselves to move beyond the comfort zone, to move from what we're used to doing, because what I have been doing is what has kept me here. So if I want to move to a higher level, I have to switch. And the first thing, I must change the way I think. I must change the way I think. If I think that it's impossible for somebody to have a happy marriage, guess what? I won't have a happy marriage. It's not village people. If I believe that it's impossible for a man to have a happy home where they're not fighting, they're not quarreling, one person cheating on the other, it's not possible. I'm right. That's what I will have. Because it's how I think. What I think creates my environment, creates my own existence, creates my own reality. So, that miracle that you've been praying for is already in your hands. That miracle you've been praying for is already in your hands. It's already in your house. I like this scripture. Let's see 2 Kings. 2 Kings. We'll read chapter 4 from verse 1. 2 Kings 4 from verse 1. 2 Kings 4 from verse 1. On the day the widow of a member of the group of prophets came to Elisha and cried out, "My husband who served you is dead, and you know how he feared the Lord. But now a creditor has come, threatening to take my 2 sons as slaves." Verse 2. "What can I do to help you?" Elisha asked. Note this. "Tell me, what do you have in your house?" What do you have in your house? Now, see her response. She said, "Nothing at all." What do you have in your house? Nothing at all. I don't have anything. Nothing at all. So this nothing at all already tells you her mindset. What I have is not valuable. It can't produce anything. It's nonsense. So, "Nothing at all except a flask of olive oil," she replied. "Nothing at all except a flask of olive oil," she replied. So before I continue reading, I want you to notice something. When she came to the prophet for help, the first thing he asked was, "What do you have in your house?" Because the breakthrough will not come from abroad. It will come from that thing that God has already given you. There's a seed for that breakthrough in your house. It's not outside. You see, God is not wicked. He will not put your future in the hands of another person. He will not put your destiny in the hands of another person. It is always a seed that you already have that will deliver the result. Okay. And I can't blame her. I mean, imagine you now, you have vegetable oil, olive oil, or whatever you used to cook in the house. And they ask you what is in the house. Maybe you will not even mention except olive oil. You may have yam, you won't mention yam. I mean, what will yam do for the money that I need? But that's the beauty of God. I was reading something. I think it's this morning. Yes, one of the things I shared today, and he said they hit a brick wall and they were in serious debt, and they didn't know what to do. What was it? And they had to calm down and just submit that I don't know what to do, but God has a solution. So they went to God. What is really going on? Why is this thing stalling? Why is this not happening? And God gave them an instruction. Take this and give it out. The seed, yes, the seed, that thing you desire, you have the seed now. We have this mindset of when this happens, I will give this. When I get here, I'll get. You see, that's why you've not gotten there yet. There's a seed for the next level, and you already have it. That's why I say a seed for a seed. So if I'm building a company and my projection is in the next 7 years, this company should be valued at $5 million. I'm not going to start from $5 million valuation from the onset I'm starting. That's a vision for the next 7 years. And by the time my company is valued at $5 million after that 7 years, there are things I will be doing. There are levels of promotions I'll be doing. There are level of services I'll be rendering. The number of staff I will employ. But I can't now start employing 500 staff now. I have to start from where I am. What am I saying? I have to sow a seed for today. I have to sow a seed today for tomorrow. When I get to tomorrow, I sow another seed that tomorrow for next tomorrow. When I get to next tomorrow, I sow another seed that next tomorrow for the next day. You sow seeds and you keep sowing seeds until you find yourself at the top of the ladder. There is a seed now already in your hands that will deliver the next step. I didn't say it may deliver the next 500 steps, but for you to get to, you need to get to the next step before you get to the 500 step. Do you understand? You have to start from somewhere. What is the seed for the next step? There is oil in your house. I spent too much time here, but I know you got it. What can I do for you? Elijah asked. Tell me, what do you have in your house? Nothing at all except a flask of olive oil, she replied. Verse 3. And Elijah said, borrow as many empty jars as you can from your friends and neighbors. Borrow as many empty jars as you can. So there's no limit. Now, the number she can borrow will limit the number of products she produces. It's not God now saying you should do 500, you should do 1,000, you should do 2, you should do 5, you should do 10. It's based on her capacity to borrow. What she can get will determine the level she will have. Borrow as many as you can from your friends and your neighbors. Then go into your house with your sons and shut the door behind you. Pour olive oil from your flask into the jars, setting each one aside when it is filled. 5. So she did as she was told. Her sons kept bringing jars to her, and she filled one after another. Soon, every container was full to the brim. This is another striking part. She now says, bring me another jar, she said to one of her sons. There aren't any more, he told her. See the striking part. And then the olive oil stopped flowing. The olive oil stopped flowing when the jars finished. That means if she had 100 more jars, what do you think will happen? Do you agree that the oil will continue flowing and fill the next 100 jars? If she had 1,000 jars, do you agree that it will keep flowing to fill the 1,000 jars? There are no limits. God places no limit on anyone. Verse 7. When she told the man of God what had happened, he said to her, "Now sell the olive oil and pay your debt." So you see, this is not just for them to eat and survive. This is for them to produce money, to make money and clear the debts that her husband owed. So he now says, "Go and sell them." So you know that the more jars of oil she had to sell, the more money she will make. Very simple. So go and sell, and you and your sons can live on what is left. So we'll break it down. So what is the oil? The oil is your raw talent, knowledge, or skill. You already have it. Everybody created by God has gifts. You are fearfully, you know what it means, fearfully. Fearfully, as in, there is an aura, there's a feeling, God, look at this creation. You are fearfully made. It's not a casual thing of putting 1 plus 2 and putting fearfully made. So your oil is your raw talent. Your oil is your knowledge. Your oil is your skill. That's your oil. Now, your knowledge, your talent, your skill on its own does not generate any income. Have you seen people that are very intelligent, but what they use it for is to read newspapers and argue about politics? They remember history and all the things that happened. How is that going to put food on your table? You're skilled, you are very skilled, you're good at playing chess, but you are not training people in chess. You didn't become a coach to make money from it. You just do it for fun. See, talent won't put food on your table. Talent alone will not put food on your table. So that's number one. Your oil is your raw talent, knowledge, or skill. So he said, go and borrow vessels. Now, your vessel is the products or services you package that talent, knowledge, or skill into. Clear? Your oil is your talent, knowledge, or skill. The vessels are the products or services you package your talent, your skill, your knowledge into. Example, a book, a course, a consulting service, whatever service, solutions, products that you make, software, whatever it is, that's your vessel. So I must transition from just having knowledge, from just having talent, from just having a skill, to now package it and create it as, make it into a product or a service. That's where the thinking comes from. So God is saying to you, stop just enjoying your oil. Stop wasting the oil. It is time to package it. Create a product or a service out of it and go and sell it. Create a product or service out of it and go and sell it. Price it, structure it, and release it. Put a price on it. Put a structure. What is the plan? Where are you going? What's your own structure? How do you want to run it? What is more important to you? And release it to the world. Remember, you already have the oil. You already have a skill. You already have a talent. Now you can grow in it. I can identify an area and go. Um, John Maxwell, I remember a training, and I've heard him say it multiple times. He will say, work on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Work on your strengths, not your weaknesses. It's a waste of effort to try and become excellent at something you're weak at. No, you will never be better than somebody who has it as a strength. You can be average, but average is not what you're after. Work more on your skill. Work more on your strength. It is in the area of strength that you can deliver excellence. You don't want average. Now there are character traits and there are issues in your life that you need to work on to help you. That's different. But when we're saying packaging something, when we're talking about oil, focus on your strengths. You're not funny. Don't go and try and enter comedy. Why? Why? Okay, you heard people make money as comedians, and your loved ones told you you're funny. See, your loved ones will always tell you those kind of things. They lied to you. You're not funny. So focus on your strengths. Focus on your strengths. So I want to give us I always like to make things, organized, where next steps and stuff like that. So here's a simple step-by-step process to move from idea to income. Simple step-by-step process to move from idea to income. Simple step-by-step process to move from idea to income. Step 1, identify your oil. Obviously, ask yourself, what is the specific knowledge, skill, or solution I possess? And you can, after asking yourself, you can ask people, if there's one thing you feel I'm good at, what would it be? Like there's somebody I've told before that you are so good, you have excellent administrative skills. But I don't think they ever knew that. They just felt it's just a normal thing. I'm good at, I remember things, I'm good. No. That is gold. Gold, as in real. Those kind of people are so rare. And that person does it effortlessly. It's just like second nature. It's like breathing. Do you know how that can be packaged? The amount of income that person can command if they just understand that this is not normal and work on it, fine tune it, get better at it. So the first thing is identify what problem do people consistently ask you to solve? Have you noticed a pattern that people tend to come to you and ask for advice here, ask for you to guide them here, ask these questions, and it's one thing for somebody to ask you and never come back. But when somebody asks you repeatedly, it means that the advice you've been given has been working. What are the things you've done effortlessly? What are the things you notice that there's a pattern? I tend to do these things and they work. Identify your oil. Step 2, define your vessel. Define your vessel. So after I identify, this is my gift, this is where I have strengths. Now ask yourself, what is the simplest, fastest way I can package this oil to solve a problem for someone? What is the simplest and fastest way I can package this oil to solve a problem for someone? What is the simplest, fastest way I can package this oil to solve a problem for someone? You know the beautiful thing, this day and age we live in, it's even easier to get these answers. You can literally stay on your laptop, your phone even, and do thorough research with data backing it. Because it's important that I identify if I have this as a gift, is it marketable? Is it something that there's a high pool of people who are interested in it? How can I package it to solve problems? For example, I have some examples here. If your oil is baking, your vessel could be a cake um, baking service. And you can even package it to say, okay, a weekend cafe or whatever. It is somebody that just sat down one day and said they will create something called sip and paint. What's the connection between the two? But it caught fire. Everything we see is somebody that came up with it. Somebody came up with putting animals somewhere and getting people to come and see the animals. A zoo. So if your oil is writing, your vessel could be a CV or resume review service where you help people package their CV. You help people write resumes, work on their... I know people that are making serious money by writing proposals for people, guiding people with their proposals, doing a feasibility study and all that stuff and guiding them, business analysis. Every skill you have can be turned into a product or service. The sad part is that many people don't even know that what they have is a gift. No, I want to use a better word than gift. Many people don't know that what they have is valuable. They just feel everybody can do it. It's not. When they see somebody else doing something, they say, wow, wow, so intelligent, wow. But they play down on their own. They play down on what they have, but they elevate and talk highly of what other people have, not realizing that until those people who you are hailing and praising, they first had to value themselves first to now come out, create it as a product and a service that you are now praising. You have something that somebody else will see and will applaud. Stop second guessing yourself. If your oil is administration, your vessel could be a virtual assistant for 3 hours a week package. I will help you organize your systems. I will help you run your system. Create a team and say, this is you people's job. You can hire us and we'll work with you for 3 months. Structure things for you. Somebody just went to organize somebody's restaurant. And he's being paid heavily just to organize the business, and he's doing so well. And I've said, go and package this thing. Create it. Don't look down on it. You now know what you carry, the value you possess. You've seen that this can work. Now go and package it well. Because the next time somebody will call you, this is not what you will charge anymore. Value what you have. Value what you have. I will advise, start with one simple vessel at a time. Don't overcomplicate it. Start with one vessel at a time. Don't try to start 5 things at the same time. You see, it's important that you focus on one. Your attention is needed to grow something. Your focus, a better word, your focus is needed to grow something. So start with one. Drive it until it gets to a level where it can survive without so much supervision. Then you can now scale and do whatever you want to do. But please, for what we're talking about now, start with one. Step 3, price your vessel. Price your vessel. Ask yourself, what is a fair price for this solution? Don't undervalue your oil. Some of you will be thinking, but how, who can I, will people pay? If I put this price, will people pay? Don't. There are people that will walk away because your price is even too low. And don't get me wrong, I know that there are people that walk away because they say your price is too high. Of course. In fact, there are people that walk away because there's a price, because it's not free. So people walking away is not a problem. People will always walk away, even when it's free. Some people will still not come. Haven't you done free webinars and people didn't show up? They are even asking you if you will give them something. The knowledge you're giving them is not enough. They want you to do giveaway. And so people walking away is not a problem. You know the value of what you have. Check, see what the going rate is, see what other people are offering, and set a price. This is a critical step of faith. Don't set a price. You know, sometimes, and I'm guilty of that too, we set a price out of fear that the lower it is, the more I will get. That has never worked for me. Every time I've tried to bring down the price and say, oh, we're doing a promo, and I do one ridiculous price, do you know what? I don't get people. You will just see 1, 2, 3 people coming, and that devalues your brand. In fact, there's a price you will put and it looks like the value you are saying you are giving can't be real, because how will somebody charge this if they're really doing all these things? So now there are different prices, there are different market strategies, or strategies to enter the market. There are different ways to run your business. You can decide to do masses, you can decide to do elite, whatever it is, but set a price that shows the real value you're offering. So 3, price your vessel. 4, propose your solution. Make an offer. Make an offer. Reach out to at least 3 people who could benefit from your package solution and present it to them. So now this is the selling of your oil, because you have to sell it. If you create it as a product and keep it in your wardrobe, it just stays there, collects dust, and maybe will spoil. So after everything we're doing is to take us to step 4, propose and sell. Propose a solution and sell it. That is the key. Everything we're doing is to get us to that. So 4 simple steps. Process to move from idea to income. First step, identify your oil. What is that your unique gift? What is that thing you have? What is your advantage? Step 2, define your vessel. Create it. Make it into a product, into a service. Create it and package it. It's so easy now. Those days when you had to go and pay a graphics designer, pay a copywriter, you don't have to start with all those things for now. You will still get there, because there are levels of excellence and the levels you want to deliver. It's still advisable to go and get an expert. But as you're starting, you can start today and get all those things today without paying any money, or paying very little. So package it, give it a name, prayerfully make that decision, then set a price. This is what I will charge, and stick to that charge. Anytime you always shift. So for instance, you told somebody your charge is 1 million naira, and they say, it's heavy, and the person walked away. You told, second person came, you told him 1 million naira, he complained, he walked away. You now start, it's like people will not pay this 1 million. It's like people will not pay this one. Next person comes, you tell him 1 million, he walks away. You now go and chat him and say, what's your budget? That what's your budget you ask that guy has exposed you that you're desperate. You will now see, that, me, I was thinking something of 150k. And you will say, but let me just, it's 150 now, let me just collect it. Now there's nothing wrong. There's everything wrong. There's everything wrong. You know why? It will be hard for you to get back to that 1 million. The truth is, people will say no. And get used to it. People will say no. But guess what? People will also say yes. People will say no, and people will say yes. My job is to keep the thoughts, keep proposing the solution to more and more people. The more people I expose it to, the more people I will get a yes from. Guess what? The more people I also get a no from. But it will also increase the number of yeses that cover up for the no. You must understand that when you are selling, you're not going to see most of the people in the real world. Most people will not say yes. It's normal. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't mean your solution is wrong. But there has to be this stick to itiveness to stay there and keep showing up day in, day out. Keep pushing that thing day in, day out. That's how everybody starts. You will now get to the point where, without you even pushing anything, people, once you're doing a good job, without you even pushing it, people will just say, oh, I got your number from this person. Oh, I heard of you from this person. Oh, these people told you about your service. You will get there. You will get there. I hope that makes sense. So this week, identify your oil. This week, define and price your vessel. What is the vessel? What are you creating as a solution, as a system, as a package? And what price will you put on it? Then start sharing it, telling people about it. Start telling people about it. All right, I hope this has helped us this evening. I'm learning a lot, and I hope you are too. And I hope that every time we have a session like this, it helps you and it gradually changes the way you think and see life. Because I'm telling you, there's space up there for all of us. And there's nobody that cannot improve and get to that level they desire. One step at a time. This week, please go ahead without fear, without any form of worry, without any form of intimidation by anyone. Go back and look within. What is it I have? What can I create out of this? Go and do research. Go and ask people. Let me tell you, there's nothing new under the sun. That thing you are thinking, if it doesn't exist already, something close to it. That's why more of what we're doing now is innovations. You look at something, you compare 10 brands and you check what are their unique selling points. You combine the 10 of them. You now say, what are 10 of them missing that I can add? You know the beautiful thing, as I said before, you can do all this in a matter of minutes with your system. You don't have to go and carry flyers and be doing survey. You can literally sit down and do this research and get real data that answers that question. Will you take time to think? Will you take time to think, to pray, to brood over it? Will you take the step, not waiting for perfection? You can't get better until you start. You can't be excellent in something you are not doing consistently. It's not possible. So start where you are and start growing. I'm doing a video on YouTube. There's nothing excellent about it. Every time I show up, my communication is improving. The video doesn't look as crisp as it should look, but I said I will not wait for perfect conditions. I will start so that by the time it keeps getting better and it's HD and everything is excellent, I will be better at it. So what is your excuse? Go and win this evening.